With my more optimized equipment and processes, I cut my production time down from 810 minutes to under 80, which gave me the production capacity to start scaling my business. My first step was to begin pivoting from direct sale to bulk sale. This eliminates the need for lots of marketing and custom orders like with letter stands, and allows for a more streamlined production, reducing time and costs. Initially, I attempted to sell my raw plastic sheets to engineering outfits. However, they weren't interested. I then tried to sell my sheets to other craft hobbyists. However, people were not willing to pay my asking price. Therefore, I decided to create a new product which I could produce in bulk. I came up with the idea of developing educational character kits, featuring an assortment of letters, numbers and symbols that could be used for teaching maths and spelling to young students. Since I was uncertain about the demand for this product, I took my chances and put together a prototype, which I presented to a local primary school, and their feedback was overwhelmingly positive. They told me this is exactly what they need in their classrooms and they love the sustainability factor. Additionally, they told me they had tried other similar alternatives, however they weren't durable or just didn't offer enough variety. This meant I now had a viable product idea. However, I didn't feel it would be fair to charge the schools for an educational product. I personally believe education is one of the most important cornerstones of modern society and is a must if we want a strong and sustainable future, which meant I needed to pass that cost on to someone else. Therefore, I asked Andrew from Anchor Milk if he could put me in contact with someone at Fonterra, and amazingly, he organised an opportunity for me to speak with Rosie, who is Head of Sustainability at Fonterra. During our conversation, I presented my educational kit idea and proposed the possibility of a sponsorship. Rosie showed interest and committed to looking into it. Fonterra has a strong track record of supporting New Zealand communities, such as through their Kickstart Breakfast program, which has donated over 55 million breakfasts to schools in need, which is why I chose to approach them with my idea first. During this time, I was also working part-time as a barber cutting hair, which meant I talked with a lot of people. This made me realise it would be the perfect opportunity to network and promote my project. So I took in sample letters, and every time I talked with someone interesting, I showed them my project, and through this I met the owner of Build Link Selwyn, a local business that supply construction companies with materials. And during this time I just started selling mailbox numbers as they were easy to produce alongside the educational kits. So recognising this as a great opportunity to get into wholesale, I asked if he would be willing to stock my product, and he agreed. Additionally, he even offered to display it at the counter if I had a stand. So I got to work and produced the first order of mailbox numbers along with a stand made from my recycled plastic. And I was really happy with how it turned out. During this period, I also met up with the primary school that was trialling my educational kits, and their feedback was really valuable. For instance, they suggested changing the font from Arial to Sassoon, which was easier for children to read. Additionally, we finalised the number of characters each kit should contain. In the end, we settled on a 98-piece kit, including the following. With the kit design finalised and ready to go, I contacted Fonterra for any updates, and they told me they were extremely overwhelmed and still working on it, which I completely understood and I really appreciated them trying. However, I'm not very good at waiting. So in the meantime, I contacted businesses trying to find a sponsor for my educational kits, and I soon came across Puru Accountants, who loved the idea and said yes. So we agreed on the terms, which were they would fully sponsor 30 kits and I would include their logo on the box and advertise their brand through my social media. In the deal, I decided to lower the price of each kit so I could distribute more, in hopes a future client would be more inclined to sponsor or even invest. Additionally, an article on my project was published in the paper and a local wood turning business saw it and reached out to me. They were interested in buying the raw plastic sheets for use in making pens and character jewellery. So we agreed on a price and that brought in another revenue stream. Since I had won the local Young Enterprise business competition, I now had my regionals, which was against 5 other groups, and like before, I had 5 minutes to deliver my pitch and 2 minutes for questions. I decided to explain my business through my journey to show the amount of learning and effort that went into production and R&D. I then talked about how I built relationships and worked with the likes of Fonterra, Anchor, Building Selwyn and schools to develop all my products. I then covered the production process, financials and had a 5-year plan. During the pitch I emphasised that letters were not the core of the business, it was the innovation behind the plastic sheets and their versatility in future products like fence posts, road markers, formwork and other construction applications.
What if I told you that before you on this table was also 100 milk bottles? At Upcycled Plastics we've spent the last year designing and engineering our very own production line to transform 98% of that Anchor milk bottle to a durable, versatile and fully sustainable product.
Lastly, to gain confidence for the competition, I practiced my pitch at 5 different school assemblies. And this opportunity helped me significantly in refining my presentational skills. And although I was really satisfied with how it all went, I didn't secure a spot in the Nationals competition, which was really disappointing. However, since I was able to gather a lot of points throughout the year by completing all the business challenges, like paperwork to a high standard, I was given the opportunity to compete in the Wildcards, which was a pitch competition against the top 9 other high scoring groups nationwide, with the winner advancing to the Nationals competition. However, before I could commit, I had to evaluate if I was even in a position to continue with the Young Enterprise scheme, as I had made a lot of commitments and I was running out of time. Fonterra got back to me, and although they couldn't sponsor the educational kits at that time, they generously ordered 10 of them. Purupuru Accountants agreed to sponsor the 30 kits. Additionally, I received numerous orders for mailbox numbers, letter stands, and the pen turning company requested more sheets. During this busy schedule, my family and I were preparing to move to the US in mid-January, leaving me with just 2.5 months to complete everything. And to fulfill all my orders, I needed over 100 sheets, which was more than I'd made in the past 8 months. So after careful consideration, knowing that I might not be able to complete everything, I decided to proceed with the Wildcards competition anyway. The Wildcards was scheduled for November 10th, giving me only 9 days to refine and practice my pitch. Seeking feedback, I sent my script to a law firm and several business leaders, who provided me with great suggestions. Incorporating their feedback, I rewrote the speech, focusing on highlighting the scalability of my business model, whilst emphasising the future potential and versatility of my plastic sheets. And since the competition was streamed and judged online, you can check out the video which I've linked below. But long story short, I won, which meant I was back in the game. And with no time to rest and school now finished, I turned all my attention to the business. To produce the required 100 sheets, I needed a lot of plastic. So I increased the weekly deliveries from Fonterra to everything they had in the region, which was around 550 used milk bottles per week. I then spent the next 3 weeks working from 10 AM till 12 AM every day, which is the hardest I've ever worked in my life, and with equipment breaking down constantly and sheets still failing, it definitely pushed me mentally. However, within that time frame, I managed to successfully produce 80 sheets. One of my goals from the beginning was to have my project featured on national TV, but it proved to be quite a challenge. Despite reaching out to numerous media companies and even getting my project published in 3 local newspapers in hopes it would attract the attention of larger news outlets, it didn't happen. Feeling disappointed, I gave up. Then on my last day working as a barber, on November 26th, I had a customer who turned out to be the cameraman for major media networks. He connected me with a journalist from 7 Sharp, which is New Zealand's largest TV news outlet, and in just a matter of days my interview was filmed and aired on December 1st. Additionally, I had my project published in the Educational Gazette, which is a large New Zealand educational magazine. And if you want to check them out, I've linked them below. For the Nationals competition, I further refined my pitch and presentation to make it more coherent. I really wanted the judges to see that the character kits, letter stands, mailbox numbers and pens were all just the beginning of what's possible, and that I could change the future of plastic recycling. And to showcase the versatility of my plastic sheets to the judges, I created last-minute prototypes for electric fence insulators made from broken coat hangers and road cat eyes made from used milk bottles. Additionally, I put together a booklet with a range of products that I believe could be made from recycled plastic cost-effectively. Then on the 5th of December, I flew up to Auckland with my mother and sister for the Nationals competition. I gave my pitch at about 3 PM in front of a small audience and panel of judges. And it did not go well. My pitch was very similar to the one I gave at the Wildcards, and I had practiced. However, due to fatigue from the long hours I'd been working, 2 minutes in, my mind just went blank, and I literally turned to the judges and just said, you know what, I'm going to call it there.
I think I'll call it there.
Then I quickly answered the judges' questions, and to say that I was pissed with my performance was an understatement. I was extremely disappointed. But I went to the awards ceremony with no expectation of success. The ceremony was a very elegant 3-course dinner where they announced the winners. Out of the 1,400 teams that had entered at the start of the year, I placed second and won the award for sustainability. So I guess the 2-minute pitch, the 2-minute questions, and the booklet together with samples was enough to sell my vision to the judges. However, while the Young Enterprise competition had come to a close, I still had a significant amount of work ahead of me. With 20 sheets to make, over 100 sheets to plane in CNC, and over 3,000 characters to tidy, package and ship, time was running out. But fortunately for me, there was a staff member at my school who was extremely supportive of my project and gave up a lot of his time during the summer school break to help me complete all my orders. Additionally, my mother and grandparents were a tremendous help in getting all the orders finished, and I could not have done it without all of them. And to be completely honest, this 3-week period was extremely difficult and just sucked. I felt so burnt out and I was completely sick of this project to the point where I hated every second of it. But I couldn't stop because I was so close. And this fatigue and tiredness led me to make some small but costly mistakes, like forgetting to remove a screw or setting up the wrong toolpath, which led me to ruin a lot of plastic sheets and break 6 CNC bits. But eventually I was able to finish all the orders, and with only a week to spare I hand delivered all 30 kits to the schools and shipped out the remaining orders. During this period I also sold my business and all my production equipment. Then only a few days later, after me and my family had packed up our entire life into a few boxes, we got on the plane and left for Texas. And that marked the end of my Upcycled Plastics journey. In hindsight, if I were to undertake this project again, I would make the mold completely out of 10 or 20mm aluminium, and I would use a much larger hydraulic press. I would also look at adding a plastic drying process to get rid of moisture, as I think this would significantly improve the quality of the plastic. Additionally, before leaving New Zealand, I had a conversation with a plastics engineer who shed some light on my project. He explained that although the milk bottles I was recycling were composed of 3 layers of HDPE plastic, each layer likely had a distinct chemical composition and therefore different melting point. This is likely why I could never get the plastic very malleable and why it cooled and burnt so quickly, which made moulding and working with the plastic difficult. But despite the challenges and struggle, this project has been truly an amazing experience, and I've gained invaluable knowledge that spans business, engineering, plastic, recycling and sustainability. Throughout this journey, I've also drawn several key takeaways. Firstly, the world's recycling system is utterly broken. Only 9% of plastic gets recycled, and as a consequence, our oceans, waterways and lands are heavily polluted to the point where there's microplastics in our food. And whilst getting rid of all plastic would be a great utopian idea, it's ignorant to think that we can live without it when modern society and our everyday lives are so heavily reliant on it. And the pressing issue is that recycling plastic in its current state is not economically competitive with virgin plastic. However, I believe that by expanding Upcycled Plastics' business model, profitability can be achieved. And while creating CNC letters from small plastic sheets is obviously not scalable, the core concept of being both the recycler and manufacturer can be adapted to produce low-cost extrusions like sheets and poles, which can then be used in many industries like construction for use in formwork, power poles, signs, pallets, fencing, just to name a few. And plastic has a lot of unique properties which can make it desirable for different applications. like its strength, flexibility, UV, rot and graffiti resistance, which can make it outlast other alternatives. In addition, it can be cut, nailed, screwed with woodworking tools and can be recycled up to 10 times. So whilst plastic is not ideal, there are ways to make it more sustainable, and at this point I think that's all we can do. Now to wrap up the video. One of the judges at the Nationals competition offered me help in scaling and growing Upcycled Plastics. Additionally, after my 7 Sharp interview aired, I got an email from the owner of a very large chemicals company in New Zealand, and he offered his mentoring and even a free bay in one of his factories where he could help me start my business. And unfortunately, since I had left New Zealand, I couldn't pursue these opportunities. But to be honest, it's maybe for the best. I did research into all the commercial equipment I would need, and I even priced it all up from China. And whilst I believe it's still possible, the truth is the initial investment is beyond my financial capability. So for now I'm focusing on AI, and I hope to soon start a new business in this field. So if you're interested in investing in an AI startup, let me know, and then who knows, when I'm financially more capable to do so, I might revisit this project. But until then, see you in the next video.